What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Burke aka Danzaway here, and how awesome it is to once again be looking at the start screen of Final Fantasy X with the intention of uploading a playthrough of my favourite game. So what is the deal with this particular series that you'll hopefully be watching? This is going to be a little introductory episode to explain what's going on because you might not be familiar with what I'm going to be trying to do. I will go through this for you and hopefully we can get started with the series and things should make sense before you actually start to watch the upcoming videos in the playlist. So as you can see before you, and as the title and thumbnail of the video would suggest, we are playing through a modded version of Final Fantasy X. Before we launch into this, the main thing that you need to understand is that this is a gameplay related mod. It has nothing to do with like the visuals of the game, the cutscenes, the voice acting. So there are going to be no visual enhancements here. It's all about the gameplay and the new series of challenges we're going to be facing throughout the playthrough. So I'll give you guys some background on why I'm playing this particular mod and what the story is with it and what to expect for this series going forward. As you can see, this is the Pbirdman mod, and hopefully a lot of you guys watching this series will have seen my Final Fantasy X LP or have seen some of my Final Fantasy X content, and in that I mentioned Pbirdman a few times. This guy is someone who's been in the Final Fantasy X community for probably like 15 years, maybe more, and he knows almost everything there is to know about this game. He's dived into the data found in the disc. He's got an incredibly useful and comprehensive ultimate companion guide which I used extensively in both my walkthrough and future videos that I made, like the boss guides and that kind of thing. Pbirdman is someone who I consider a hero of the Final Fantasy X community. Now, a few years ago, before the remasters came out, Pbirdman said that he wanted to work on a mod for the game. So something that was going to make it a little bit more challenging, something that's going to give players who had played through the game multiple times a different kind of experience without them having to make it into some kind of self-imposed challenge like no sphere grid or something like that. And because he's someone who knows the game pretty well, I trust that he's made interesting tweaks to this game that will make it a fresh experience. So the reason I chose Pbirdman's mod over some of the others that I've heard of, I think Sin Unleashed on Steam is probably the most popular one that a lot of people will know, and that's a mod that a lot of people have pitched to me to play. But I wanted to go with Pbirdman first because I've known him for a long time. He's someone I really respect, and I wanted to show off the hard work that he's done for the game. And if there was ever a modded version of Final Fantasy X that I would play, I'd always want it to be his one first because I just know how much he loves the game, how much he knows about the game, and I trust that he's made some interesting changes to the gameplay, and it's my way of giving him like a little bit of a tribute for everything that he's done for the community and for the help he's provided in me making my Final Fantasy X videos. So I've never played a modded version of Final Fantasy X before. By the time Pbirdman got into this whole modding thing and he was looking for people to test out the mod and that kind of business, I was a lot more active on YouTube and I was doing other things, so I never really got around to playing his mod. But more recently I've had a bit of an itch to go back to Final Fantasy X because that's going to be an itch that I can never fully scratch. I think in like 30 years time I'm still going to be like, oh, I've got an itch to play Final Fantasy X. But as always, I try to bring something new and fresh to the channel. If I am doing Final Fantasy X content, I do want it to be something new to me and hopefully new to you guys as well. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, and I felt like playing this modded version from Pbirdman was going to be a great way for me to get back into the game and for you guys to get some new Final Fantasy X content on the channel. Of course, one of the most exciting things about this is that it's going to be something totally fresh for me. I'm going in totally blind. I haven't played through Final Fantasy X for a long time, and because obviously a lot more of my focus is on other games now, I'm playing other Final Fantasies, other games, my gameplay knowledge and memory of Final Fantasy X deteriorates more every day. And on one hand that's a little bit sad because I miss my old encyclopedic knowledge of Final Fantasy X, but on the one hand it's cool for stuff like this because I'm not at the same level that I was maybe, let's say, between 2007 and 2013/14. So this is going to be like a kind of a nerfed Danzaway trying to play a modded version of Final Fantasy X, so it could spring up a few more surprises. There's going to be things I'm going to forget. There's going to be things that are going to surprise me and probably cause game overs and KOs and all that kind of business. So hopefully it should be quite an interesting thing for you guys to watch, because all of the Final Fantasy X stuff you've seen so far has pretty much been me, as someone who's played the game a lot, finding it fairly easy or presenting it as more of a tutorial type thing, where I'm just kind of going through the game and showing you guys how things work. So even for a lot of tough boss battles, I've almost always been in control, and it's been more of a guide than an experience of me kind of playing it blind and seeing how it all plays out. So the unpredictability is hopefully going to be something very interesting for me, and hopefully should be entertaining for you guys to see as well. I of course spoke to Pbirdman before I got into this whole thing. He's the one that sent me the mod. If you're wondering why I'm playing it on the emulator, it's because he has modified the ISO file of the PS2 version of the game, so it can only be played on an emulator, so he doesn't have the HD remaster or the Steam version or anything like that modded. So that's why I'm going to be playing this one on an emulator. I think my settings are okay for the emulator. I haven't really played Final Fantasy X emulated in a way where I want to record it and present it to people for a very long time. I'm playing at 3x native resolution, and I've supposedly got the widescreen hack activated so that the aspect ratio is slightly fixed compared to the stretched one, but I'm not 100% sure if it's worked correctly. But I'm just so used to widescreen now that I just find it really difficult to play with the giant black bars down the side. So I'm going to be playing through with a full screen version. So if there's any settings tweaks you think I need to be making, then let me know in the comments, because I think I've done an okay job. We're going to be focused more on the gameplay here anyway, rather than like the visuals and the cinematics and all that kind of stuff, as we would be with a full LP of any game on the channel. So like I said, I spoke to Pbirdman. I let him know that it was finally time for me to play through his mod and that I wanted to put it on the channel. I've made sure that I've not looked through his notes, because obviously he's got an extensive list of notes for every change he's made for the modded version. I don't know what they are, and I'm going to find out as I play through. He's wanted to kind of make it like a natural flowing gameplay experience, but with some new stuff added in and some added challenges as we play through the game. So it might be, let's say, harder to level up. We might have certain restrictions that we didn't have before. Enemies might have more HP. They might have new moves that they haven't had before. But it's not going to be like, I don't know, the first dingo that you fight is going to have 5 million HP. It's not going to be some kind of ridiculous give every single monster 100 times the HP that they had kind of thing. So he's tried to be a bit more thoughtful about it. Think about it more in terms of the moves they have and the resistances they have and that kind of thing, as opposed to just kind of raw power and that sort of thing. I trust Pbirdman. I think it's going to be fine, but I make no promises about this mod being like amazingly brilliant and that I'm going to have the most amazing gameplay experience I've ever had with Final Fantasy X. But I'm definitely feeling positive about it, and I think it's going to be a good experience. But just keep your expectations in check, because Pbirdman himself has said that this is not about making the most hardcore, difficult mod possible. So probably going to be something a bit more light to start. And if I do move on to the Sin Unleashed mod, then maybe you'll see some more hardcore stuff in terms of gameplay difficulty and boss stats and that sort of thing. The final thing I want to talk about with regards to this for this intro episode is to do with how I'm going to be presenting the playthrough. One thing I didn't want to do was to turn this into like a full LP with all of the cinematics and all of the dialogue and like the entire like 40, 50, 60 hour experience that we're going to be playing. Because I already have my original LP from 2014, which I love so dearly and which I've been blessed to get such a wonderful response from. But I still asked you guys on YouTube. I made a poll, and basically it was kind of like a 50-50 split between upload it like a full LP, which I'm not surprised by, and it's always a great privilege and honor to have so many of you guys want me to play more Final Fantasy X, even after all these years, and all of the content that I've made for it, which is just, it's always really humbling. But it's not really what I want to do with this series. So fortunately, a good 50% of people also said that we'd like to see gameplay highlights plus the boss battles. And I think that's the kind of thing I'm looking to settle on as I upload. What is new about this whole experience is the gameplay and what we're going to be fighting, how we're going to be leveling up, the equipment and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be focused on the gameplay here. But I think depending on how the mod plays out and how the playthrough is going, I'll decide during editing how I want to upload things. So we'll see. It's not guaranteed yet, but it's looking like gameplay highlights plus the boss battles. This isn't going to be uploaded like a regular LP, so it's not going to be pretty much daily or an upload every 2 days. I'm thinking something like maybe an upload a week. So something to sprinkle in amongst the regular stuff that I'm doing on the channel. Because I don't want Final Fantasy X to kind of take over everything again. I want to keep playing and uploading the stuff that I'm doing regularly anyway. But I wanted to find a way to still play a little bit of Final Fantasy X and to sprinkle that in on the channel. Because I know that so many of you guys love the Final Fantasy X content. And I love making it. So I thought this would be a wonderful compromise for you and for me. And hopefully if you guys enjoy what you're seeing, then this will be a way for me to keep uploading Final Fantasy X content and there are more modded versions of Final Fantasy X out there, including the Sin Unleashed mod. So once this one is done, I can move on to Sin Unleashed as well, and that means that we're going to have Final Fantasy X content on the channel for a long time to come, and we're still going to be experiencing Final Fantasy X in a fresh new way. So that's the general gist of it, guys. I'm looking forward to this one. It's been a very long time since I got to do a proper playthrough of Final Fantasy X, and the fact that I'm going to be seeing things I haven't seen before and trying to figure out ways past bosses and past enemies that I've never had to think about before, I am very much excited. So I will see you guys soon for the first true episode, because I've got to do a fair bit of play at the start, because I've got to get through all the early cutscenes and all that kind of business. So as the playthrough goes on, hopefully we're going to be seeing more and more interesting things happening as we're going through areas, and we're going to find out how these bosses have been modified to make them more interesting in battle. The first episode is likely to be probably as soon as Auron gives Tidus the sword and we start to actually engage in some gameplay, and we'll take things from there and see how it goes. So I'll see you guys then, and I hope you will enjoy the series. Look out for episode 1 coming soon. Take care, everyone.